Hi, y'all. This is Kristen Chenoweth.
Hi, I'm Gloria Stefan.
This is Sarah Bareilles.
Hi, I'm Patty LuPone.
This is Lin-Manuel Miranda. You're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy.
Angelica's on her honeymoon, and I'm Uncle Phil.
And you are listening to
Real Talk.
Today is a very exciting day because we have our very first special guest for the new season with our new video component. You loved her on BB21. She is the mother manifester, my best friend inside and outside of the house. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Christie Murphy. Yay!
Hey guys! I'm very, very honored that you selected me as your first video guest. I'm honored. I'm excited to be here. This is awesome.
We love you, Chris. Thanks for dealing with, we're working out the kinks still, so it's not easy, but
I don't know if we're ever going to not work out the kinks.
Where do we even begin? You're watching Big Brother. You haven't watched in a while. One of the questions that somebody asked was, why weren't you watching for a bit?
So I did take a little bit of a break. I watched 22, 23. The only reason I didn't watch 24 was because the day that it aired, I was arriving in Europe. I was on my 2-week honeymoon. And I mean, realistically, I wasn't going to watch it on my honeymoon. My full intentions were to come back and then watch. But then I was reading and catching up, and it just seemed very messy, a lot of drama. And you know me, I'm very blunt how I feel about Big Brother. I like the game, the strategy. And I felt like the first 2 weeks were full of a lot of stuff that wasn't related to the game. And I had no interest. And I was just you know what? I think this is my sign to take a little break. I was it just wasn't my season to watch. So I felt stupid. We were at an event recently, and when we did the lip sync battle, and all BB24 people were there. And I swear to you, I literally dodged making eye contact with any of them because I didn't know any of their names. And I felt bad being oh, hi, I don't know you. I just didn't want to disrespect anyone. So I literally just beat it out of there. But I'm back. I'm watching this season and I'm so into it, more into it than and it's good to be back.
You definitely should go back and watch 24 on your own time. It did start off rough for sure, but it got really, really, really good. I mean, you know what happens. Taylor's incredible, but also we spoke about this quickly. You got to watch Michael play. Michael was so incredible. I actually think he's my favorite Big Brother player of all time now. Yeah, he's incredible. So you definitely should go back and watch for sure.
I think maybe one of these days I will, because I feel after this season is over, I'm going to have that. Yeah. I get addicted. I feel hooked again, and maybe just want to fill my time. So maybe I will.
Yeah. It's true that, we love the drama when it comes to game, but something that I learned after our experience is that Big Brother is you hear all the time, it's a social experiment, but I never realized what that meant, I guess, until we finished. I think I always just thought of it as a hardcore game, that's what it was all about for both of us. But Big Brother's just as much about society as it, and the social issues in our world and bringing those to light. It's just as much about that as it is about the game, is what I've learned, at least since we finished.
I kind of wish that I knew more how the season went, because I feel Taylor winning is such a victorious, I know that she was kind of the underdog because she was nominated a whole bunch of times, right? And on the block. So I kind of wish I did know more of the context of how she became the winner, because I'm sure it was super inspiring and everything. And I do agree with what you're saying that Big Brother is a lot more it does involve society issues and this and that. But, I'm a season one, OG, from the beginning. And I do feel the game has changed so much since the beginning. I do feel BB23 had to happen. I almost feel after our experience, I feel BB23 was there was a purpose and it was meant to be that. And it was this something was achieved that we never saw before on Big Brother. But I do feel now, like going forward, I do hope that the game is still integral and like the things that we love about Big Brother are still, kept alive. Like it is cutthroat. It should be cutthroat. Like Heisem said something this week about like, we all know that like people don't get to the end and win Big Brother by lying. And I'm like, dude, what? Like, have you watched Big Brother? Have you heard of Dan Giesling? Like, that is how you win. You have to lie. You're playing Big Brother. So, I don't know. I'm all about integrity.
So, one of the things that I always criticize is the game has changed because of social media, right? In today's world, Kent and was it Bunky? They wouldn't be friends because Kent would have been in trouble for saying the things he was saying, but they ended up being friends. And that was part of the reason for it. You go on a show, you meet people that you never would have known, and then you see, you know what, we're kind of alike.
I hear that, but I just think at least my perspective is that I didn't realize that social media you're right, it changed the game, but I almost don't mind the change. It's just different than what it was if you accept it for what it is. And what it is like, it's just as much about social issues as it is about the game and the backstabbing and the lying. I feel like they go hand in hand. Both things are equally focused on throughout the seasons. And I'm kind of okay with that. It's just, I had to mentally shift what Big Brother was to me. And once I did that, like, I'm okay. I'm on board with it. But does that make sense? Like, I feel like we're similar.
Yeah.
That we always thought it was like all about the game. But I mean, our season in particular, like especially, we're like, no, it's just as much about the social issues as it is about anything else. And I feel like...
And I get that. And I do agree with that. But like to touch on like what Phil's saying, I think the aspect of like Twitter, and that's the main reason why I've never joined it, keeping it focused on game and also social like justices and injustices, and in a lot of cases, I think is important. But like how you mentioned, like Kent and Bunky, I think that Twitter and the opinions and the loud like armies of people feeling a certain way is what creates like an ugliness about it, where I think that it could still be about social issues and game, but it not be like forced to have like such a one strong opinion or another, because then it like does take away from the game. Like maybe today they wouldn't be able to be friends because Twitter literally just wouldn't allow them to. And if they were, they would get tormented for being friends, or like, how could you ever forgive that? How could you ever? So I get what you're saying, Phil, like that's where the social media, like the division of it. But I do agree with what you're saying, Thomas, that it does need to be a part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about this today. In mostly every season of Big Brother, the house guests get along until they get to the outside world.
100%.
Like, even when you fight with somebody, I mean, I remember you and Nick did Taco Tuesday and you were hugging immediately after. When you are just stripped bare of social media, your phone, outside factors, what you're left with at your core is just like most people, it's just a decent human being that's willing to forgive and willing to move on. And I don't think it's a coincidence that in most casts, they all get along, they all get over their shit in the house, but it's once they get out of the house, they hate each other. So-and-so doesn't talk to this one, and the cast is split in two, there's two sides, and you see it happen with every single cast. There's not one cast that everyone talks to. Not one.
100%.
It's it's crazy. It's so
I know,
weird.
But because when you get, like what you said, when you're in the house, no matter how dirty you do each other, you are still very much in the mentality where, well, this is a game. I could hate them right now, but human connection is still human connection. And that's where the public and the social media, because when you get out and you're fed a narrative, okay, well, this is the narrative that I have to go with now. And I can't forgive this person. I can't like this person because Twitter told me how horrible they are and they're wrong, and that it's the division for me. But you're right, you're 100% right, and I think that's so interesting because I never really like fully, like I wonder how many seasons, if we went like season by season, like we could pick out people like that. I bet you it's almost every season.
I really think so. I mean, when we were our season, they don't speak. Not everyone speaks to each other, and we all got along Like when we were in the house, I mean, for the most part, I would say like we were one big happy family. It felt like, at least from my perspective, it felt like that.
No,
and then once we got out, maybe there were divisions within the house, but it was not what it is right now. Nowhere near what it is right now. That's it.
And you know what? I think for some reason, and some people, when they get out and they actually see what was said, like behind closed doors and about them, I could understand there being a distance. Like, I mean, I'm not close with certain people that I was really close with in the house, and for, reasons that have, that just happen. But I feel like it's different. It's a different kind of, I think certain people break ties because they actually hear things from that person like, wow, that really hurt. Like, I'm really disappointed in that. But a lot of people don't talk just because they think like, is it really a lot worse than it was,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So what's interesting about this season is that we've got Cerie and Jared playing, and they're a pre-existing relationship, mother and son duo. They're keeping it a secret in the house. Reminds us of us, and us coming into the house. Yay! And
people hate it. People hated that.
well, yeah, they did, and it's funny because I'm seeing a couple of things pop up about it being whether or not it's an advantage that people with a pre-existing relationship come into this game, and they bring up that all of these secret duos or pre-existing relationship duos that come into the game do really well. Liz and Julia, Dick and Danielle, me and you, and I forget, there was some more, but basically, I guess I just want to talk about our experience coming into the game as a pre-existing connection and hear what your perspective is on it. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, just to touch on Jared and Cerie, I really honestly love the addition of them this season. Maybe I am biased because I was someone that was like part of a pre-existing relationship, so I guess I don't see like the big deal or like the huge advantage to it. I also just really, so far, I'm sure we'll chat about it later, but Jared's like my number one pick right now. Cerie I love too, but I feel like she's had her fair share of like reality TV. Like, I'd rather him go further than her, but whatever. Anyway, I feel like, listen, I'm not going to sit here because I know you feel differently. You feel like it's more of a disadvantage, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's not an advantage. I do feel that the way that I look at it is when you go in that house, especially now, like modern day Big Brother, I feel like back in the day, alliances were made like week 2, week 3, and they were ironclad. Like, you made an alliance, you took your time. You didn't make it day 1, day 2. You took your time, you sussed everybody out. You made an alliance and you wrote it out till the end. Final 2s, final 3s, final 5s. Nowadays, I feel like Big Brother, there's like 45 different alliances. No one's really loyal. So you really genuinely feel so alone in there and have not a single person that you know that you could trust. I don't care if you shake and swear on the Bible and you say final 2. You're still not really going to fully trust your game in the hands of that person. And I do feel that when you go into it with a bond with someone else, at least I felt that nothing in the world could happen in that game that we wouldn't have each other. I knew that no matter how batshit crazy I got, no matter what crazy shit I said or who I tried to work with, or if we didn't agree, we would still be able to say, like, humble each other, have real conversations, talk each other off the ledge, and just know that, like, no matter what, like, this person's got my back. So I do feel like that. I mean, also for me, you used the veto on me twice. So obviously for me, it was a little bit of advantage. I mean, you know
but
what I'm saying? Feel like, you know what I'm saying? Well, like, yeah, were there little tiny glimmers in the game where I did fear, like, oh my God, he's going to flip on me. Yes. But if they lasted like a day, that's a lot. Like, and it was once, maybe twice. And at the end of the day, like, I do feel like it gives you a sense of comfort and security knowing that you do have a person. But it also adds a lot of things to be extra paranoid, extra worried, extra scared about. God forbid you slip of the tongue, you say anything like, that's why I tried to like play it in plain sight. Like I tried to like drop things how close we lived together just to assure that there wasn't anything like to slip. I was like, you know, if I'm going to hide, I'm going to do it in plain sight. But we felt differently about that. Like our tactics were definitely different because you were hysterical when it came to me.
Was one of those times in the shower?
What do you mean?
Yeah.
One of those times.
that she thought that maybe you were going to flip on her.
No.
It's another.
I guess
it's another
so. That would be
iconic
it.
moment.
It wasn't even that I thought he was going to flip on me in that moment. I was just so like beaten down by that week. I think that was when I was on the block 5th time or 4th. And I just like nothing in there felt real to me. And I think even in the subtitle, they don't say a real sentence, but I think what I was saying is like nothing feels real. And he was just, I guess, letting me know, like, but I'm still real, like I am. But no, I think the only time I was nervous about him flipping was when me and Nick really were at odds.
Oh, yes.
And
But I
he was
wouldn't
like
have-
fighting.
Yeah, I would have never. I mean, Nick knows I would have never chosen him over you. It was always you.
I know he's so salty about it still.
Still
to this day.
so salty.
He'll bring it up on the phone. Like I'll literally be talking to him like on a random Tuesday, and he'll be like, "Yeah, well, you know, I just still think it's so fucked up. Like Thomas should have just let me know. I never stood a chance. Like that's just messed up."
Yeah, he calls me a
Okay.
scumbag all the time. He's like, "You're a scumbag."
I know.
And
The one thing you could have done is just told him, "Don't do what you're going to do." And
I
go-
did.
No, but he said you
I
didn't
did.
tell him.
No, I did. He's crazy. Don't listen to him. He's crazy.
All right.
Okay, so you know what's funny? I'm going to contradict myself and say that I feel like it was a disadvantage for us. I've said that to you before because we both play so different. Like that's what it comes down to. We were both great players, but we played very different, and I was in a constant state of panic. That's what it was. But I wasn't panicking because of my position in the house. I was panicking because of our relationship. That was the truth. Like, it was so scary to, like, just, like, juggle, like, how you were feeling and how I was feeling. Like, that was so hard for me. Like, so I think in that sense, people would always say, like, you had an advantage coming in. But I'm like, there are disadvantages that come with being in a house together like that. Now, it's funny because
especially
you go.
Sorry, I was gonna say to like if especially if one person is more of a liability. Like I was a ticking time bomb. I was more of a liability to you and your like calm game. So I could understand like that.
But again, it's just we were just different players. Like that's what it comes down to. Like we were both great, but like I was more calm and you were a little more like chaotic is the best way to put it. Just like there was like tons of stuff happening all the time, but it was great. It was just as great. It was not one way was better or worse than the other. It was just different. Like I look back now and I really feel that. I don't feel like you were a liability. I don't feel like that. I really don't.
Well, thanks. I mean, you made it further than me, so
Just 1 week. You hit the block 5 times, you survived. Once I hit the block, I was gone. But anyway, so I don't feel like it was an advantage for us. I do agree with you, though, that I always felt like I had you and I knew that you had me, and that having that in the house was a gift.
So
But
I got to say one thing. Go
hold
ahead.
on, before you go there, I want to bring it back to Cerie and Jared's
That's what I was gonna do.
relationship. So with them, I think it's an advantage. I think it's a full-blown advantage.
There's a difference. That's why.
Well, I think there is a difference because they 100% knew that they were both coming in the house together.
Yep.
We did not know that.
But with Jared and like Cerie, yes, they knew 100% they were both gonna. So they had like time to like fully prepare
Right,
their game and their tactics. And I also think that it's an advantage for them too. This part was a choice though, because they're working technically on opposite sides of the house, or so the house thinks.
Yep.
Didn't we say we were gonna try to do that?
That's what I was thinking about too. I think they're able to do it because she's a mother and he's her son. I think that they're naturally going to gravitate towards different groups of people because of their age bracket, honestly. And I feel like with us, we just gravitated towards the same people. So like it didn't make sense for us to not connect at some point. We were like, because in the beginning we were trying not to connect at all. me and you in the house. But then at some point we were just like, we're literally best friends with all the same best friends. Like, it doesn't make sense for us to try and keep this like a hidden thing. Like, we should just be connected.
And also, too, like, and I don't know if you felt this way, but like, I'm sure you did. That early on in the game, you could go in with like a mentality, like, okay, I'm going to align with like these type of people, like this, because you know your own strengths. So me, I was like, I want to align with like people that counter my strengths, like smarter people, more timid people, or more shy people. But once you get in that house, if all these like really strong athletic people, these like jocks and these people that are like the popular people are just like, you're with us. Like you just say yes. Like you're just like, hell yeah. There would be no way that a group of 7 on day 2 would come to approach me and say, you want in? And I'd be like, yeah, actually, you know what? No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. You can't. So I feel like we were both just kind of not recruited.
Yeah,
but like
we were
both sort of.
We were pulled in.
Not going to say no, you know? So
absolutely.
I guess like you said, their age difference works for their advantage.
It's so funny about that, though. I went back and listened to an interview with you and Taron Armstrong, and you were like, I thought I was part of the core in the beginning. He goes, and I wasn't when I came out and found out that I was pulled in after it was already established.
Yeah.
He goes, that was news to me.
Yeah, it was. I remember that. That's true. Who are the standouts to you from this season so far?
They're all messy.
They are.
I know. I can't wait to hear Phil's take too. So it's funny, at the lip sync thing, you know how Ovi did like the little interview with all of us, like who our winner pick was?
Yes.
Mine is still the same. Mine is preseason, it was Jared, and still now it is still Jared.
Yep.
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he will eventually get caught for being, Cerie's son, but something about him in his cast reveal, his energy he was the first house guest to make me smile. Like as I'm looking at my phone watching, he made me smile. His energy is just very magnetic. Mm-hmm. And seeing him as a man in this game and as a player, I think that he's navigating so far really perfectly between the professors and the I don't even know what to call them anymore. The handful.
Yeah.
I think that he's navigating really well between them right now. But I also just like the things that he says. Like I like that he, like how we were saying, like social end game. I feel like he balances both. I feel like he is there for the right reason and he's there to play a game, but he's also like mindful, and I feel like he's inclusive. I love him. So he's definitely up there for me. Another standout, maybe I'm biased again, like Riley and Jag. I really do love them. I see like bits of myself in Riley. I feel like she was not afraid to win that first HOH. Like a lot of people are scared to win the first HOH. She was not afraid. I do wish that she didn't like go quickly naming targets and names the first week. Like I didn't want to talk about who my target was until like halfway through the season. So I feel like that was a mistake, but I love her and Jag. Really would love for them to go far if they happen to flip this week. I don't know. But I really like America. America, I think, has the potential to go like final 3. I know that she was the first one to enter the house, and according to the BB curse, she won't win. But I could see her easy in a final 3. And Felicia. I'm obsessed with Felicia. I'm obsessed with her.
Felicia's amazing.
She's a riot.
Yeah, I love her. She's so funny. Oh, the video of her on the Big Brother Instagram, she's like, I need my snacks. I want kettle chips. I want jelly beans. She's so funny. I'm obsessed with her too. She's great. The only thing
like the way she requests food is she just does it into the camera. Like she doesn't go to the DR and say, hi, I want this. She'll look in the camera and she's like, yeah, I want that hard salami, super sada. I'm like, oh my God,
I know.
I love her so much.
She's so great.
The one last thing though, because before we leave Cerie and the son, she's also been on TV, and I think that's another advantage that she has. And,
yes,
but you guys hit the other ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She's been on shows before, but I will say this. I don't know if you're keeping up with the feeds, but this week has gotten messy. They were talking about doing a vote flip to potentially keep Riley, and it has gone back and forth so many times. Cerie is leading the pack. And it's really interesting because with Big Brother, the way that the timeline works, you have days after the veto competition before you vote. In Survivor, you have 6 hours after the last competition till when you vote. So she's not used to having this much time, and it's kind of biting her in the butt, I think. Like it's going to
get out.
It's going to get. So now where they're at is that they're not keeping Riley. Riley's going to go home, and they're going to send out Cameron because they don't want to piss off Hassam. But Hassam's going to find out and get pissed off anyways. The damage is done. They might as well just, send it.
I don't know why they're like so scared of Hassam. Like, first of all, he can't play HOH 2 weeks in a row. And I get that he's winning comps, but like, I feel like take your shot at him now. I really wish that Riley, because like, I know that they're teetering so much. Like, I feel like every time I go on and read, they're back and forth. And that's a good point that you made about Cerie. I don't watch Survivor, so I didn't know that it's such a smaller window of time, but that makes sense. Like, I wonder if all of her votes may have been different in her past seasons if she was given so much longer time. Like, now it's so different. But I really wish that Riley, like, instead of like going in rooms and whispering and like trying to count her votes and trying to silently flip people, she would just pull like a house meeting. Let's go. Keep me. This is the reasons that you should keep me. He's winning comps. I'm going to take a shot at him. I can play an HOH next week. He can't. Stop being scared. He's going to run your alliance and he's going to win over all of you. So take him out. I will help. Like, I feel like she needs to like be bold and not be like secretively trying to get votes behind people's backs.
Absolutely.
Like, just go for it. Send.
I know.
Send. Like, especially because if you think you're going home already, like that's how I was during like Taco Tuesday week. I'm like, I'm going home. So I am going to go balls to the wall right now. And I'm going to make it known who my targets are. And then she will still remain a target. So that's still great. Mm-hmm. But it buys her this vote. Like, I don't know. I feel like I hope that she like really sends it.
If she watched your season, she would know about this.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did, though.
I think she is a big fan of the show. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. You said before that she reminds you of you. I don't agree because I don't think she is bold like you said. And I don't know. I'm watching her arguments, like her campaign, and it's just not it. Like, people are wanting her to step up to the plate and say the right things, and she's falling flat every conversation that she has. But they're still wanting they're giving her the opportunity to step up to the plate, but she just can't do it. Like, in every conversation she has, it's, if you keep me, you're going to have me and my allies, Blue, Jag, Matt, me. That's 4 people. But in saying that, she's letting everybody know that she has 4 people or 3 people that are on the top of her list before them. So it's letting them, like, she has numbers behind her, and that's dangerous. People don't want someone with numbers.
That's what Mimi said.
So it's like she's shooting herself in the foot. It sucks because she does have potential to stay, but it's hers to lose, and she's losing it, I think, right now.
Right. Like, I feel like her angle needs to be more like, I have nothing right now. Take me, use me. I am your puppet. I'll do whatever. I'll literally like, like, you can't expose your totem pole because then they're gonna know.
Yeah, she's like, I have all these people, and everyone's like, well, then where do I fit into that equation? At the bottom of that list? Like, I don't really want you here if that's what it's gonna be. But another point that she could make is that Cameron is actually, I think, because Cameron is one big question mark, he's a very dangerous player. Like, we don't know. I could see just flocking right back to Hassam next week if it serves him fit. So I just think having a question mark in the game is way more dangerous and scary than having somebody who you know where she stands, you know that she's loyal, you keep her, she won't go after you. I just feel like for those reasons, Riley should be staying, but I don't think that she's going to use that campaign, so I don't think it's going to go away.
Yeah, that doesn't look good for one of my players.
I know. We have a Big Brother draft. I'll show you our little poster.
Angelica swindled us.
Yeah, she did.
Did you guys shoot, was it random selections or you chose who you want?
No, Angelica got to go first because she's the youngest, but what we didn't. I know.
Because she's Angelica.
I know. So she went first because she's the youngest, but then where we messed up is then I should have gone first the next round. Then he should have gone first the round after that. She just went first in every round that we picked. So she is the best team.
That's why she should have auditioned for Big Brother.
I know. It's true. She swindled us.
So
Yep.
Who are your like standout? Both of you, like who are your standout people right now?
Right
like,
now,
necessarily like, favorites or who you think's gonna do well.
So I gotta be honest with you. Right now, I dislike Hissam. I think he's condescending and annoying.
Condescending.
I really can't stand him. He's taken the list off the. I mean, he's on the top of my list right now of people I hate. You did mention some of my favorites. I do like America. Riley was one of my favorites, and I think she's kind of funny, right? Like tonight when she was in the DR, and she's like, "Why doesn't anybody listen to me?" Because she's telling them, you got to do this, and they're not doing it. And the second one didn't hurt because Red didn't get picked, but the first one did. Jared, it could have saved her.
Yeah, but he didn't want to. He's walking the line.
I know.
Like he couldn't save her.
I get it. I understand that, but she doesn't know that he's on the other side too.
She does now.
Right.
I don't know if she does. He?
Well, she said on the episode, she goes, because Jag was like, I'm not going to pick you. I need you to trust me. She goes, that's what Jared told me, and look where that got me.
Right. But I still don't think she knows that he's on the.
She knows he's not 100% trustworthy.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, they brought Jared into the alliance, and he went back and told the mother, and then she started getting interviewed, like who's in your group? You got a group, right? And start naming the names, and they have to know that there's somebody here telling the other side.
Right.
And
I don't think it's like confirmed to her that he's with them, but I think she was just saying that more or less like, well, he let me down.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So I like her a lot, but she's going to go.
That makes sense. Who else?
What about you, Thomas?
My favorites are America and Mimi. I really like her.
That was brilliant when she was doing
She's
with the
great.
math. You saw that video clip with the math?
No, what?
Oh, it was on Twitter. I only get on Twitter during Big Brother season, but she's sitting there because right now everybody was talking about we're going to go to sleep. We're going to save Riley, and she's sitting in a room on a board, and she's putting her hands like this, going, "Riley has an army. Does it make sense? The math doesn't add up. Why wouldn't we get rid of her and then get rid of Issam?"
I know, but I mean. Listen, you can always find an argument. The argument that could be made for that is that Riley may have an army, but you know where she stands. She's loyal. And if you save her, you're pulling her onto your side. Cameron's a big question mark. He's going to flip-flop. He has no one, and that's more dangerous.
I hate to say it.
At least if Riley wins the next HOH, you know for sure you can guarantee at least one of her nominations. At least one is Hissam. Where like Cameron, he could put up two other professors. You have no idea. At least with Riley, she has a clear target, and I think that's always an asset to keep in the game.
The thing that when you let these people stay in, like Hissam, it ends up being like Jackson, where you can't get rid of him then.
I mean, Jackson wasn't winning competitions at this point of the season. I think that Hissam is really
you knew that he
shooting prematurely, though.
You
knew that
was
Jackson
intentional.
Right.
Yeah, but we didn't know for sure. No. We wouldn't know for sure, though. Like, what I'm saying is... I don't think it's fair to compare Hissam to Jackson because Hissam is winning. Hissam has won 3 out of the 4 competitions so far,
and you can only win 3 out of 4. You can't win 4 out of 4 because you can't win HOH twice.
It's too much for the beginning of the season. Like that was
like Hissam's just choosing to be a show off. I feel like with Jackson, the moment he showed that he was winning comps, we should have got him out right away. That's when I like flipped and was like, oh, this guy, I'm not going to the ends with him, not a shot.
Yeah.
But I felt like other Jack just was, I guess, a bigger target to certain people. But yeah, like if Hissam wants to show off this early in the game and win these comps, like they should take that as a sign. Like if he's winning this much boldly early when he doesn't even have to win, imagine what he's going to do when he has to win. Like,
yeah, for sure. You know what else is really interesting about the Cerie Jared dynamic is that Cerie has attached herself to Izzy so that the rest of the house actually sees them as a duo and not her and Jared. So for this reason, I actually feel like Jared is super protected. I think that if Cerie gets put on the block, because I do think that this potential vote flip will come back to bite her in the butt, and I think that her and Izzy will be the ones to wind up on the block for it, not her and Jared. So it's pretty good gameplay, I think.
I agree. He's in a very good position, Jared. No, now touching on the whole like Cerie Izzy dynamic, how do we feel about Izzy in terms of, do we think that she would ever use this as a tool, like for when she has to throw this information out there and destroy their game and say, I know something? Or do you think she just loves Cerie so much that she would die on the sword for her?
Well, I if it was me, I'm gonna use the information. I don't know if she will though.
Yeah, a week ago I said that she would use the information against them, but now seeing her on the feeds, on one hand she's like, I'm not emotional, I'll do whatever it takes to win. She says that to people. But on the other hand, like, I
hate him. I want to hate him. I can't hate him.
She's great. But on the other hand, I just feel like I'm buying what she's selling. Like, I really believe that she's obsessed with Cerie. Like, everyone on Twitter is calling her Izzy Fields. And it's so funny to me because she's like trying to be like the other daughter. So everyone's like, Izzy Fields. Like, it's so good. It's so funny.
That's hysterical.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's like so loves her, obsessed, ride or die. But I think that if she starts to feel threatened, like, okay, Jared and Cerie are going to maybe go further, and she sees it like maybe threatening her own personal game, I could see her saying, well, they're mother and son. But in a sense, like, I was thinking about being a house guest in a house, like, say you're down to like the final 8, final 7. And if someone out of the blue just says, well, hey, I know something, I would kind of question, like, all right, well, you're telling us this now, but like, you're only saying it because it's convenient to you. So you actually lied to all of us this whole season too. So you're also untrustworthy.
Yes.
And you also, so I don't know how much I would like really trust anyway.
That's a great point. Like, how much weight does it hold if you kept the secret too, Izzy? Yeah,
right.
I love that.
Did you see the slip up that Jared said about his like football coach?
Yeah.
What is it?
I did. It's so stupid that the house guests fell for that. His answer.
I agree.
I mean, come on. Obviously, they don't play football.
What was it? I don't know anything about this.
He was like
telling a story. Yeah, you tell it. You'd be able to describe it.
So he was telling a story how his football coach would be like, "Go Fields, go Fields," and then he went, "Fields is what my coach was stupid, and he thought that yards were fields, and they fell for it."
Yeah. Oh no, he said something like, "Yeah, no, this coach was so crazy. He didn't even say run yards. He said fields. He wanted to run us. He wanted us to run fields." And everyone just bought it.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with these people?
But I guess
I was like, wow.
But I guess it goes back to like when we were saying like hiding in plain sight. Like, there's literally a conversation of when we were in the house where you're like, oh my gosh, so funny. We live right around the block from each other. Like literally one exit away. Like, you would think that people. Oh,
I know your exit. Yeah. I can get you in.
Sometimes people just buy what you tell them. Like, in a situation like that, if it's not game talk secretly behind closed doors whispering,
right.
then people are going to buy what you're saying. Because why would you lie about something like that in a group setting, you know?
Since I played football, I would have known that's a lie.
Right, and like, how lucky was he in this situation that his last name was Fields and not like Bennett? Like, you know what I mean? Like, thank God his last name was Fields. Like, how else would you tie that into football?
Right.
Yeah, I know. That was good, I guess, thinking on his feet, but oof, yikes, very scary.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, so let's see. We got a couple of questions from some listeners. Let's see what they're saying.
Well, I got a question.
I'm always curious.
I do have a question for both of you, because I've been watching on Twitter, and a lot of people are saying that they are reading off a teleprompter in the DR room. And I wanted to ask you, I know I spoke to you and you said they don't tell you, they kind of give you like hints of what they would like to hear, but it's really your words, right? But now other people are writing, well, they've been doing that for years, reading off a teleprompter, and I just don't think that's the case.
No, we haven't. We didn't read off a teleprompter.
Right?
In the DR,
There's
he's talking about.
No, there's definitely no teleprompter. And if there was, I feel like that, I don't even feel like people would agree to read off of it. I mean, but they definitely like will paraphrase. Like if you say something like, oh, great, I got to go make a deal with the devil. They'll be like, well, maybe you could say something more along the lines of, and they'll like reword things for you. So that's why it probably sounds staged sometimes, because it a little bit is, but there's definitely no teleprompter. There's just a little blinking light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
also, by the way, when are we going to start calling Twitter X? Are we going to ever make that jump, or are we just going to just keep calling it Twitter?
I just like the way Twitter sounds when I get mad.
X.
Yeah, X is like X.
Anyway,
Yeah.
So this first question comes from Marie Rhoda. Who's most likely to have a Taco Tuesday moment on this season?
Ooh. Wow, good question, Rhoda. It's tough because it's kind of too soon to tell. But if because when I think of Taco Tuesday, I think of like who's gonna come out of nowhere and lay it all on the line and like risk it all and blow up someone's game, and whose game deserves to be blown up. Because like I feel like Nick needed to be exposed in that moment, and I was willing to throw it like all on the line. So it's too soon to tell, but I mean, touching on what we just said, like maybe an Izzy Jared.
Ooh, I could see it.
Because I feel like Izzy is volatile and chaotic like me. And I could see her having like a blow up moment, like if she's on the block and they're safe, her being like, this is it. This is my final. I'm throwing it all. I'm throwing in like, I got to go for it. And maybe Jared being like the Nick in that situation, because he's playing on both sides and being like kind of. So maybe Izzy Jared.
Ooh, I love that. This next question comes from Love of the Arts. What's your favorite experience or memory from Big Brother?
Honestly, like it's gonna sound so like silly, but I would say like, so for our season it was much different than others. Like I don't think we had a live move-in.
Yes.
So we have feeds for like the first whole week. And for me, that was like my most memorable and my most enjoyed moments, because we knew that there were no feeds. So it wasn't even like we were worried about what anyone thought of us. We were so bonded and we were truly, truly getting to know each other at that point. And we were all genuinely close. There was no fighting at that point.
Yeah.
Like people that are like enemies now, like even including myself, like we were friends, like we were close. Like it was just such a cool dynamic. And we also did like really embarrassing shit that whole week, like Bootsy the dog, and we made up a lot of our songs in the first week. Like we just, for me, the camaraderie and like that family feeling, like I would say was my favorite. I mean, yeah, because I mean, game-wise, my favorite moment was like staying over Sis, but it was also really sad and bittersweet, and I was so defeated at that time by then. So, yeah, I would say week one, honestly, before like it got ugly, you know.
This next question's from Lee Khan 900. Why did you go into life coaching?
Oh, my personal life. Love that. So like, honestly, from a very young age, I knew that like I was pulled to like wanting to help people in like an unconventional way. I just didn't know the route of how to get there. Like I changed my major 1,000 times in college to like all different random things. I wound up with a psych major, but I still knew, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to be like a psychiatrist. I don't want to like prescribe medicine and be a doctor. So I kind of just like always felt pulled to that. And my favorite thing about like people is connection and talking and problem solving. And I feel like now, knowing what a life coach is, like I feel like it's like this light bulb went off and is like, well, that's it. That's my purpose. Life coaching. I don't want to dwell on people's past and traumas and whys and hows and how does that make you feel crying? I want to help people navigate their own lives and figure out like paths to happiness and success. And like I always say, like the whole manifesting thing, I do believe that you are the creator of your future and of your life, and every choice that you make and everything you see for yourself is going to be the way that your life reflects and it pans out. So I just want to spread that. And I feel like I luckily have the freedom right now to be in school and not have to like be tied down to like a job. So taking the next 8 months to do that, and I'll graduate in January, and then I'll be able to take clients. I'm super excited about it.
You're going to be so good. Oh my goodness.
Thanks.
You
learn a lot about yourself in doing it too. Like life coaching isn't just about helping other people. It really is about like drawing inspiration from your clients. And like, I feel like even just being in school, I'm doing like a lot of peer coaching with different students, and it's like the most enlightening, empowering thing. Like you learn a lot about yourself in it too, which is so cool. So the HOH tonight,
the veto, what'd you think of that veto?
Well, it's funny because all of X was talking about how, on the feeds, all the house guests were talking about how ruthless Hassam's speech was and how it was, so cutthroat and it rubbed everyone the wrong way. But then what we saw on the show was really not that bad. So either the house guests are losing it or Big Brother editing is protecting Hassam.
No, exactly that. It was supposedly so bad that they protected him.
I don't know.
I'm talking about the veto itself. It was so easy. I can't believe 147. He won it with 1 minute and 47 seconds. Cameron had 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Is it me, or do you feel like the competitions are kind of boring this season?
Yeah, I even said it to Jamie. I was like, oh, wow, they're doing like these like random new comps that I've never seen before. Like I at a certain point, I do feel like people get sick of all the same comps, but keeping some of them the same is exciting. It's like legendary comps, which I hope we see some of. But I do feel like it was boring. I agree with you, Phil. Like the way that they aired it, it looked so easy. But maybe they edited it. Like maybe like the discs, like the tracks actually did scramble it a lot more, but they didn't want to show each person like for like the whole comp.
Yeah.
So maybe they just like showed it in like a sped up version to get to the point, because if it was that easy as just going and putting 3 messages together, I feel like that is so easy.
Obviously 3 of them were 147, 210 and 228 were the top 3 scores.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody did well. Like Matt didn't do that well, and I think that hurt him, because I know he wears earpieces and stuff, but having a hearing disability, that had to be hard to try to figure that out.
I personally feel like Big Brother should have planned better. And if they knew that they were casting a deaf contestant, they should have made sure they had all their ducks in a row before, because you can't just throw someone in a house and expect them to perform the same way as other people. Like, I feel like it lessens his chances of performing well by just treating him like the rest of the house. But right, you don't want to set him up to win. I feel like they should have and I love Matt, I really want him to go far, but they should have either not cast a deaf cast member or made sure that all these accommodations were squared away before the show started.
And there's no way they were, because that with Julie, that was cringy. Like he was sitting there.
Yeah, that was so sad.
It was terrible.
That was terrible.
And I think that's when they started to say, oh, we got to do something.
Well, they said they put a microphone directly, because here was the issue. They couldn't turn up the mics or the sound in the DR.
You'll get feedback, or people will hear you outside.
People will hear you in the living room. So they can only turn it up so much until it becomes detrimental for his game, because people will know his secrets.
Right.
So
but in that sense, I'm saying that they should have, if they knew that if they couldn't do that, there should have been an extra blinking light in that room, and they let him know, hey, Matt, just when the light goes off and it blinks twice, that's Julie saying thank you. You could say your goodbye and head out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Visuals, create visuals for him. Be prepared. You're going to
100%.
And this was not the competition for him.
Yeah.
Like they could have had this later on in the season or something like that.
I know. It's tricky.
It is. It
Well,
is.
a lot of time goes into the setup of the comps. So by the time they pick players for the veto, the competition's pretty much almost set up. So
Right.
they probably were just like, shit, once he was picked, they couldn't take apart the whole comp, and they were
Right.
just probably like, all right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting article. You guys should look at it because they specify what accommodations
Okay.
that they're making, and it's a long article.
Yeah,
There's a
I'm gonna
long
check it.
list. There's a long list, but it's not enough. It's clearly not enough. There's still some struggles going on.
And I also said I thought that people were like not really sprinting. Like Riley is going to go home, and she's like jogging. Where I think it's a lot more pressure to get this done fast.
Yeah, I don't.
Meanwhile,
really-
Heisen, when he got to that tuba, he literally was like shaking. Like,
Right. Because
like, oh,
he said,
God.
I've got to win this one because otherwise Riley's going to be off the block. Because one of these guys win, they're going to take her off.
Yeah, I just feel like Riley's
about-
not doing it for me. Honestly, there's no fire
what
underneath
about-
her.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I've sympathized with her a lot, like during her HOH, because of like how emotional she was, and I saw myself. But game wise, I agree with you. But wait, what about when he found out he won the veto, Heisem, and he was like looking around for everyone to celebrate with him, and then picks up Riley and is like holding her in the air. I was like, are you a crazy person? Like, I didn't. Like, I really was just so confused. I'm like, put her down, first of all. And the way he was like waiting for a big bear hug celebration, it's like, you're kind of on everyone's shit list right now. Everyone's sick of you. So do less.
Yeah, he's gonna be in for a rude awakening next week. I can't wait to see it all unfold. Honestly.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
praying for them to keep Riley just to see what happens to him, how mad he would get. But unfortunately, it doesn't appear that's going to happen. And actually, on X right now, Izzy's talking to Jared, and she's like, I was thinking about saving her, but she says, well, you and Cerie are running the house. Like, you don't say that.
Oh my, yeah, she's so dumb. I'm sorry. Riley's saying the craziest things. Everything you should not say is what she's saying.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So she's like, I can't save her now.
I know. Yeah, she shot herself in the foot. That's it. She's got to go. Cameron's gonna he's gonna stir the pot as the season progresses. It's gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited he's staying.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about him yet, but I guess we'll see.
So before we go, I want to ask you, what's your life look like these days? I know you're doing your life coach school.
Yeah, honestly, like that's my main focus right now is school, and it is time consuming because it's a lot of like assignments and stuff on my own, but it is, like I was saying before, it's a lot of like peer coaching. So I have to do like 36 hours in the next like month or so of actual like hands-on coaching, swapping like client coach. So that's like pretty much my main focus right now. Yeah, I'm married. My wife and I are in Jersey, and we have our 2 little cavapoos, and we're just enjoying the summer. We're going to be taking a trip to Sedona in October for my birthday.
Nice.
And yeah, kind of laying low, married life, just enjoying the pause before the next chapter.
It was the best wedding ever. It was so much fun. Oh my goodness. It was. I wish we could go back. It was the best trip. It was so nice.
Well,
it was magical.
Can't wait for yours. Yours is next. I know it's
see.
been a lot of planning and stuff, but I am ready.
We'll see what happens. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Can you clarify that? Because people are going to be wondering what you're talking about.
No, it's just very stressful, and it's a lot to plan a wedding. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
it's a lot.
But it's
Unless
not-
you,
Decisions.
I feel like.
But it's not Joey. That's.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Of course
right.
not.
The way you were like, we'll see.
Yeah,
no.
honestly, yeah, that response was like a little weird.
Oh my God, no! I didn't mean it like that. I love Joey, of
You were
course.
like, I don't know. We'll see.
No, oh my God, no! It's just because I don't know what's gonna happen with the wedding. Like Oh my God, that's so funny.
Like
didn't mean
I
it
know
like
what
that.
you meant, but like other people might not.
That's the title of the episode. Let's talk. We'll see.
Oh no, you're right. Poor Joey. I love Joey so much. We're good. We're on. But I just don't know what it's going to look like. If it'll be a day at City Hall, if it'll be a day in the backyard, if it'll be at a traditional ballroom, we don't know what's going to happen. Or like a mini destination. We're trying to figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah.
By the way, if you need any therapy people, I'm volunteer.
Oh, he could use some therapy, honestly.
So far, I've been to 3 therapists, and they all think I'm perfect. But
Oh, you sound like a perfect candidate.
Wait, that's actually a great idea. You have to therapize him. You have to therapize him and life coach him, please. It would be so good.
I love it. Maybe we could do like a special edition of Real Talk. Let's talk Phil in life coaching.
Oh my God, you have to. That would be great.
Or like, can Phil be life coached?
I don't know. All right, we'll see. That'll be the next episode. I love that. All right, well, thanks, Chris. 1, 2, 3. It's been real.
Real.